My name is Kate Parrish and I've lived in Hartley Witney all my life. I'd just like to say that actually I think we can all reduce congestion in Hartley Witney and allow the housing to be built. If we all make an effort ourselves personally to walk a lot more, not to drive our children to school, not to drive to church, and generally, get out and use our legs a lot more and cycle. And I'd also like to say on the issue of housing that we do need housing in this area. We need affordable housing for local people. I'm very lucky I've managed to be able to stay in this village for all of my life. But my brothers and sisters aren't able to stay in this village. They cannot afford to stay here. And yet they are in the public sector, policemen, teachers, etc. Now, if their pay is capped and free and frozen, they are delivering frontline services. We won't be able to keep those people in our local communities living here to deliver the services that we all need for our children and for us to live safely.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other contributions from the floor?
Thank you very much. Susan Baird, I live in Hartley Witney. I entirely agree that housing should be in the hands of local people to make the decision. But there will be areas where the local people do not wish to see any housing there at all. How will your government, whoever it is, deal with that situation?
Thank you. James Arbuthnot,
yeah. Susan has been in charge of housing in Hart for a number of years, and it's a good opportunity to say thank you, Susan, for the work that you've only just stopped finishing doing, because it's been fantastic. And you and I have had this discussion before, and it's a very thorny problem. But in other countries, it is local people that make these decisions rather than central government. And in other countries, local councils are encouraged to allow the building of houses. And I think that if we had such an encouragement here, so that local councils could keep more of the council tax and of the business rates that such developments generated, then it would mean that they would be more likely to say to their local electorates, look, there's an advantage to you from having these houses over and above having some affordable houses, the ones that Kate Parrish was talking about, for our local families. And the advantage is that you get a financial payback. That's what happens in other countries like France. And they make perfectly sensible decisions. What happens here seems to be that everybody objects to all the local houses that are proposed. As a result, the Section 105 agreements for developers' contributions are lost because the development is imposed by Whitehall without the local councils being able to negotiate a higher bit of money for infrastructure. It's a real dilemma here, which we've got to resolve. And I think that there does need to be more of a local acceptance of more housing, provided the locals get the benefit of bringing in that more housing. And it's going to be a very difficult thing for us all to stomach. We've got to do it.
Yes, I do. On that point, I mean, in my own experience in working, we've actually had cross-party agreement on a major housing development, the Hoe Valley scheme, which is 400 houses plus making sure that the floodplain is developed so that people don't suffer the effects of flood. And that is the approach to follow within local councils, is if you have cross-party agreement, anything is possible. So you try and overcome the objections, the strong objections of people who just simply do not want it there. You to then be able to encourage people as well to go along with it and see the financial advantages. That's where I agree with James there. You have to be able to give councils more benefit from the council tax and the business rates to make that possible and see the benefits of the extra housing. But parties have to work together at local councils when you have to make decisions about housing. I mean, I myself, I don't own my own house. I'm a teacher also in the public sector. I'm glad the lady at the back raised that issue. It is a real problem. You know, public sector workers who cannot get affordable housing to buy.
Yes, I think there is a problem with the perception of the payments that are the planning gain that local councils receive, and it's something that there needs to be a little bit of education that this money that they receive is not a bribe that they get in order to clear the development. It is a contribution towards essential services that will have to be provided if this development goes ahead. And I have on a number of occasions seen councils criticised for taking the planning money, where in fact it probably isn't enough to cover the additional costs they're going to incur when the new development's gone in. So I think there needs to be some way of making people aware that this money is actually an essential payment for the development to work.